Welcome to the Orange Flag Podcast. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. I'm Auston.
I'm Aries.
I'm Nicole. Obviously that was a reference to Porsche Penske Motorsports final race in WEC. And we have a lot to say about that, so I guess I'm gonna start. I have been a Porsche fan forever. The first car I ever thought that I would want when I learned what cars were was a 911. So, yeah, I supported Porsche before they left last time, and I really wanted to support Porsche when they came back. The problem is I wasn't a big fan of their service provider. So, that was a struggle for me. Got over that struggle last year at COTA, thanks Kévin. Seriously, like, if you're a newer listener and you haven't heard this story, it's actually kind of hilarious because I have been a fan of Kévin Estre since like well before he joined PPM. 2017-ish is probably like before his Le Mans win in the Pink Pig. Like I knew to know to watch him in 2018. So, but I'm not a Penske fan. I am a Ganassi fan. Big fan of Chip Ganassi Racing. So supporting Penske, if you follow IndyCar, if you followed NASCAR during the time when they both had teams, like, that's one of the biggest rivalries, I'd say, in racing is Chip Ganassi versus Roger Penske. So it was like, well, it's Porsche, but it's Penske. So, like, what, and then, like, a driver that I really like is driving for them. Well, I'll just support him, like, real low-key. But I'm gonna support CGR. So, like, I spent 18 months low-key supporting Kévin and, like, high-key supporting Chip Ganassi Racing Cadillac. Until at COTA last year, in 2024, my friend Dave and I were just kind of like hanging around, and we ran into Kévin and ended up talking to him for like 5 minutes. Told us all about how terrible the car was, how it wasn't functioning in the heat, how it was awful to drive. It was just like, also, Kévin, close your ears and stop listening, and I'll, like, I don't know, just stop listening for a minute. I expected Kévin to be a jerk because he's French. And, like, genuinely did not expect Kévin to be, like, super fan-friendly and just an all-around awesome person. And it turns out Kévin is, in fact, fan-friendly and an all-around awesome person. So it, like, after that, it was genuinely impossible for me to not, like, super outwardly support him, right? Like, there was no more low-key supporting him. It also helped that Ganassi, like, left the sport. So I didn't have that, situation going on anymore, but, yeah, that was just, like, that's kind of my very 30,000-foot view of the whole. If you followed me on, not that I really said a ton about sports cars last year on social media, but, like, I definitely was talking more about, like, when Scott Dixon was doing stuff, or, like, a little bit about Renger van de Zande, like, because those are guys that I have supported for a long time as well, but more on the US side, right? Like, Kévin was definitely more of a, like, okay, he does European stuff. And like, that's still, there's a reason I've got the Grello stuff on, because, like, I'm kind of still not entirely certain that I believe that Kevin's even going to do IMSA next year, even with the Grello being in IMSA. Like, I'm convinced the man's just going to do a full NLS season, and I'm going to have to go to freaking Germany. I really would prefer to just be able to stay in the US and drive to a whole bunch of races and not have to go to Germany. But yeah,
We've been talking about that before.
yeah,
I remember
we've
that.
been talking about my, like, what am I going to do next year? Like,
All the races, all of them.
right, yes.
Yes.
I'm going to go to all the races is the actual answer. Every race everywhere in the entire world.
Yeah.
She's
the problem
really
is
there's a whole bunch of weddings that seem to want to interfere with my ability to go overseas and potentially see Kevin do GT races, because my sister's getting married, like, the weekend after the Nürburgring 24 hours, and then, like, a family friend who I remember when he was born is getting married the weekend after Suzuka. So I'm like, this is gonna be real, and they're both not here in Texas. They're both also things I'm going to have to travel to Massachusetts for. So it's like, yes, traveling to Massachusetts is a little easier than traveling to Germany or Japan, but
it's still
like,
traveling.
It is still travel, right? So
Yeah.
I would really, really prefer to be able to not go to Germany and Japan, and in fact just see Kevin do GT racing here next year, since, as I said, I'm convinced he's not actually going to be with PPM next year. I don't know why I'm convinced of that. I made it up in my head, but I already thought Kevin wasn't, I mean, you guys can attest to this, I already thought Kevin wasn't gonna be in the 963 next year, like, before the WEC announcement even happened. I was like, Kevin's doing full season NLS and that's it.
Literally, like, we were at Coda once again, sitting on this pallet outside of Caddy.
It's outside the hut.
Yes, outside the Joda hut. And we're just like wargaming where we think everyone's going next year. And we basically both determined that, like, our guys weren't staying with
Well,
the
this
team.
was after we found out Kevin wasn't doing petite, but before we found out why Kevin wasn't doing petite. So, like, I was convinced that he was leaving PPM at that moment, and I was like, yup, he's just gonna do Grello stuff in the NLS.
Yeah, but we
this Kevin,
hardcore.
This Kevin doing Grello stuff full time in the NLS has been, like, several months now. It's not like a knee-jerk reaction to PPM leaving WEC.
Very much so, isn't.
But yeah, obviously, if you're listening to this show, you probably are aware of what happened at Coda, and I obviously said it in the Coda episode, but I cannot thank Porsche Penske Motorsport and separately Kévin Estre enough for what happened that weekend. PPM inviting me into the garage to watch qualifying from car 6's, like, right behind the car. That's something that, you know, at the time I wasn't really thinking this could be it. You know, this could be the last opportunity I have for something like this. I was just, like, excited in the moment. But, and I said it on Twitter, when I got the picture with Kevin where I was holding the trophy, I did think there is, because the rumors were out there, I thought that there was a chance that this could be his last win for Porsche in the World Endurance Championship. And, like, we had already done a victory selfie. Like, I already had 5 pictures or whatever with him for the weekend, but I wanted to remember that win if it was what it turned out to be, which was his final win for PPM in WEC. And to be there to, in a small way, celebrate that with a driver that I've supported for almost a decade is just, it's something he didn't have to let me do. He did not have to let me hold the trophy. He could have just like, oh yeah, I'll take a picture with you, but I'm gonna hold, like, he immediately handed over the trophy. Like, it really meant a lot. And now looking back on it with the fact that the team doesn't exist anymore, it means even more. And I really do need to just say thank you to Kévin.
Yeah.
I made it through my thing without crying.
I really thought you were going to, dude. Like, obviously for me, this is a little bit different because my drivers were more on the IMSA side, but still did WEC. But also, obviously, since all of this, we talked about it last episode, Jam, who is like one of my 2 Porsche drivers, is leaving Porsche. So, this whole announcement and everything from my side has been coming, like, all of those sort of aspects. It was nice to this season get all the opportunities that we got to be with these guys and hang out with those guys, especially Kévin, Matt, and Jam, but especially in this case Jam, because he's not going to be with Porsche again. So getting to be there for, even the IMSA aspect of things was nice, but also for Coda, getting to be there for Matt's first WEC win with Porsche in the 963, which then ended up being obviously now his last win with Porsche in the 963 was crazy. And we kind of have like similar aspects of, we've both followed our drivers for like really long amounts of time, and just we're kind of on the down low about the fact that we follow our drivers. I was definitely more vocal about the fact that I supported Meyer Shank and that side of things, for similar reasons if I didn't like Penske, and that just happened to be a crossover we had, and so I was more vocal of the aspect of supporting MSR, and I happened to like a few PPM drivers. You kind of becoming more vocal about being a PPM fan, like liking Kévin when we were at Petite was what made me kind of become more vocal about being a PPM fan.
I regret that I didn't make you go through the PPM line at Petite last year, because I didn't, because I had already like I went through the PPM line at Coda last year, and then like I met and talked to Kévin last year, so
Yeah.
I was like, we didn't know each other as well, so I wasn't like thinking about it in like a selfless way like I would now, where it's like, now a huge thing of what I do at races is how can I make an experience better for someone else who is with me? And like, had I been in that headspace last year, I would have made you go through that line. Like I would have dragged you through that line, because you and I, like, we, instead of going and getting in that line after we went through the first lines we went to, we like bebopped to every LMP2 and GTD car out there. We could have, we had plenty of time to get through PPM's line, and it just didn't occur to me to drag you through it, because I really don't think I realized how big of a fan of Matt's you were. Or I would have,
Yeah. Which is, I think, the funnier thing for people to realize of like my aspect. You became more of a vocal fan of PPM this year, especially because CGR left. I have the opposite effect. Meyer Shank wasn't a team last year. Like, you would have expected me to be more of a vocal fan last year when my team that I was supporting didn't exist. But that didn't happen. It ended up being this year when MSR came back. So last year was like down low about kind of just like every person I supported.
Said this to you guys before and in multiple group chats. Had the PPM lineups this year been the same as they were last year, you would have been supporting the 60 car from Meyer Shank, not the 2 PPM cars. It's the fact that Matt and Jam were together in car number 6 that had you all in on PPM.
Yeah. I will say, like, definitely, I think just last year in general, like, sports cars, I was more on the down low about it. And I do think part of it was one of my drivers at the time of, like, the main guys I supported started off as an IndyCar driver for IMSA. So I, like, really was, like, just all over the place last year for that aspect of just having people everywhere. And I feel like this year just being more vocal about being a sports car fan made it easier to be like, this is the lineup. And then also the fact of getting Cam Jam back, getting like my 2 favorite drivers back in a lineup did definitely make it way easier to like be like, that's my car.
Meanwhile, I was like super hardcore supporting someone that was there for 2 races. Like, to the point that I had like Cam Jam No Kevin merch, pointing out the fact that really I am here supporting Kevin, which unfortunately the entire team knew by Petite, which was kind of hilarious, but you know, I mean, I guess okay. Yes, I don't think anybody is surprised here on Monday, November 10th, 2025 that I am a Kévin Estre fan. That's not like groundbreaking news. I was talking to Travis
now.
Yeah, right. I was talking to Travis a minute ago before we were recording, and I'm like, man, we got to get like cool people on the show for interviews over the off season. And Travis was like, why don't you just ask Kevin? And I'm like, I don't know. Hey Kevin, wanna be on the show over the off season?
Do it.
There we go. We've asked Kevin.
There.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that Kevin is going to come on our, 30 listener podcast. I think he has more important things to do, but maybe.
Who
It
knows?
would be really cool if we got Kevin on the podcast. We would have to record at like 7 a.m. for it to be a convenient time for him, but that's fine.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, like it's not every day.
Time zones.
You
It's
know,
not every day you
time
have
zones.
Kévin Estre on your podcast, so I would be willing to take that sacrifice.
I don't sleep
You would-
anyways, so it's fine.
Yeah,
It would be a
that's
lot
true.
brighter, and my hair would be sticking up everywhere, depending on which day of the week it was. So, quite the sight, guy.
We need to comb our hair and look presentable if we're going to do a podcast with Kevin, because people are going to watch our YouTube video if we do a podcast with Kevin.
I was gonna say, same to what Ari said, if my hair would be a mess, but my hair is already a mess today, and that's why I had to wear a hat for this episode. So I really can't talk.
Kevin did do that one podcast in French where I swear he was sitting in a closet in the dark.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe the bar isn't too high.
This was the one I believe I was in Canada, and you were messaging me to be like, what is he saying? And I was like, I am at a bar right now.
This is the one that started the LMP2 thing.
Yes, and I was literally in a bar in Canada, and you're like, can you translate this for me? And I'm like, I am in a bar. I cannot listen to this.
So maybe actually the two of you looking like you just woke up would not be, like, completely out of the ordinary if he's recording podcasts in the dark in a closet. So,
hey, I mean, I've had to do that for that one time I didn't have any lighting in my apartment. And then also
Yeah.
after the hurricane,
Mm-hmm.
there's been a
Yes.
lot of times that I've just had chaos of whatever's happening. You know?
I just sit here generally at the podcasting table. I want to get like one of those 9/11 wing
Yeah.
shelves to put behind me so I can like put stuff on it, like put the hats on it and stuff. Like that would be really cool.
Oh yeah, I saw you
I could
talking about
I
that
could
today.
awkwardly arrange the hats too. Like I could put my like where is my signed by everybody CGR hat and my signed by everybody PPM hat like together. That would be good. Then I could put like my Scott hat and my Kévin hat together. See, these are great plans for when I get my shelf. And then I could put like super random hats like my Iron Dames hat. Yes, on the other side of my laptop is just a pile of hats.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It will
Here,
basically
watch
be your
the YouTube-
version.
No, seriously, watch the YouTube.
Yes. I was like,
Michael
what?
Schumacher hat signed.
Yes.
Let me
I was gonna say, this is basically
show you
my
guys
old setup where I had all
this
the hats
insane
on the wall
pile of hats.
behind
This is
me
half of it.
was this.
This is
Yeah.
half of the pile of hats. Oh, there they are. I was just thinking that I didn't know where the Chili's stickers were because I need to remember to bring them to Daytona or frickin' Germany next year
Who knows?
to give them to Kevin. And I found them.
Hey. Germany's closer than Australia, so, you know.
That's true, although, you know.
Yeah. You know.
You know.
Yeah.
Is this the good shirt or the bad shirt? Well, this is the... Why is this still on my table? Like, this should be hanging up. Oh! Kevin, turn your ears off again if you're still listening for some reason. So my dad texts me before the race, and he was like, so is Kevin gonna be back-to-back Formula One world champion? You're gonna have to make a sweatshirt on Etsy. Like, my dad was so invested in car number 6 potentially winning the driver's title just so he could continue the Formula One joke.
You know what? That's iconic, and I'm here for it, so, like, go off. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but...
Didn't happen.
You know.
Didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Well, if I can add my 2 cents about the whole, since we are, talking about personal experiences and everything, not that I have any personal experiences with the drivers or the team or anything, because I stay here basically the whole time. Well, it's all I can say. It's been fun. It's been a fun time. Sometimes cheering against them, so because they're a good competition. So I hope I can do that again, even if it's not with that service provider. So Porsche, get on it. We miss you.
So last weekend, Bahrain was like obviously emotional because it was PPM's last race in WEC, Porsche's last race in WEC. But that honestly, like, I can't really say how far back I was watching sports car racing, but like it wasn't in the 90s. I will say that there is one driver who was on the grid that I was absolutely aware of in the 90s, and that was Jenson Button. He was one of the first drivers in general that I followed from like his pre-top level professional career prior to his debut with Williams. So I obviously followed Jenson when he debuted in Formula One. One of the reasons that I originally supported both him and Fernando Alonso is because they were born in the 80s, and that was like absolutely unheard of. They were like, the Kimi Antonelli and Oliver Behrman of the grid at the time. They were so young. So in 2000, 2001, seeing these guys, when I would go to the race and get the program, it would have their birth date on it. And seeing it have a 1980s birth date was just like, it was something that drew me to them, right? And it's just been really weird. It was weird with Alonso too, but it really was just, I don't know, it was just there in my mind all weekend this weekend about Jensen. That someone that I originally supported because he was the young guy, the like, oh my gosh, this driver's so young. And me as an 11-year-old at the time being like, this driver was born in the same decade as me, like I'll be at the complete other end of the decade, but still in the 1980s, going to, from that, all the way through his career, his retirement from Formula One, to now being one of the older guys on the grid, to being, someone who everybody said, he's had a very full career. It's not like he's retiring early. He's one of the old guys now. So, and I don't mean that in the Kevin is 6 months older than me, he's old. Like, Jensen is genuinely one of the older guys. So just seeing someone who I watched debut in Formula One as a child. I was 11 years old in 2000, and actually when the season started, I was 10 years old. So I'm 36 years old now. That's a huge... See, I told you I was gonna... That's a huge portion of my life that I've spent watching and supporting Jenson Button. And for that to now be coming to a close is just something that is very emotional to me. Because he is one of the drivers that I've supported for the longest. I supported him and Fernando Alonso when Kévin Estre was probably still doing go-karts. Like, just as a comparison, because as we remember, me and Kevin are basically the same age, so as a 10 or 11-year-old, he was probably still karting at that point. So that's just a point to how long I've supported Jensen, and it's really weird to think that his professional racing career is over now.
Yeah. It's just, like, in general, he's just one of those guys where, like, him retiring, like, the idea of it always just seemed, like, insane. And so now that it's, like, actually happening and he's not going to be, like, racing full-time anywhere is just crazy to, like, come to terms with the fact that that is, like, actually something that's happened, because he always felt like one of those guys that was like, he's not going to retire. Like, that's just, it's not going to happen. So, like, it actually happening just is, like, crazy to even think about it. Obviously, he did say, like, he's going to, like, still do, like, Goodwood and, like, some, like, one-off things and, like, still go to races, like, as a, like, fan, I guess you would say. Supporter. So, like, he's still going to be around the sport. All I'm saying, Jensen, is you and Jimmy, Garage 56 stuff. The car's still there, and Jimmy likes doing stuff in it. So I think you should join him and do some Garage 56 stuff. That's
that would be
all
amazing.
I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rocky's probably going to be a little busy to join them. Based on some rumors we've been hearing, but I don't know, wait a few years. How long's Rocky gonna do LMDH Ford for? Yeah.
I'm just saying, guys, we need some Garage 56 reunion, okay? I need it. And even if it has to be, like, part of it for now, I'll take it.
I'll take 2/3 of the lineup, sure.
Exactly.
I mean, if we're gonna mention, like, Rocky, I think he's also I don't know how to word it properly, because my my mind's not working today, so I'm sorry for that. But he's probably approaching a similar stage in his career because, like, if I'm not mistaken, he also started doing sports cars like in the early to mid 2000s or something. Because, like,
Yeah.
I remember
He's not
watching,
young either.
I remember watching that Truth in 24 Audi film. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. By the way,
Watch it.
because he was still very young then. Like, he was part of Audi's young crew in 2007. So to think of him, like, he went through Corvette, then Audi, then Corvette again, I think, and then just dabbled in some other seats and categories as well. And to think he's still being considered to be part of Ford, could be considered to be part of Ford's LMDH program. Looking back, you think, wow,
Yeah.
that's a long career.
He's also, though, just one of those
Look at
guys.
Genesis with Andre Lauderer.
Yeah.
He's not young, yet they're using him as one of the cornerstones of a new program, so...
Yeah. They're both, to me, just guys like Andre and Rocky in the sense of if you have that guy that you can get to help develop your program, you take that. Like, so.
Yeah.
When you think
Which
there
is
were
why
Audi
I'm
teammates,
scared about where Kévin may end up, because he's also somebody that I think anybody would want to help develop a program, so...
yeah, and if you wanna go, my final 2 cents. If you wanna go over quote unquote childhood heroes, I've been sort of going through this in the IndyCar side of the equation with knowing it's probably gonna be just one more attempt for Elio at the 500, and also seeing Tony Kanaan retire. So I'm like, yeah, I've been cheering for these guys pretty much since I learned what IndyCar was, and now they're not there anymore. So, ooh, this is fun. Not really.
And you guys are 10 years younger than me.
The baby.
Think about where I am with people that I've watched leave racing. Think
Yeah.
about where you're going to be in 10 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, people that didn't want, like, a depressing episode. Here, listen to Aries talk about how amazing Ferrari is.
Go off.
I mean, to be fair, I did put insert gloating session here because I didn't have any idea what I was gonna say. But well, I can give some praise to. I never thought I would say this year, but I can actually offer some praise to the guys driving the 51 because they actually kept it clean when it mattered. So well done to you. When something important's on the line, I guess you don't go around driving like headless chickens and not minding track limits and punting innocent drivers off the track. So well done to you.
And they even followed the stupid team orders at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I
didn't expect that.
I didn't expect them to, honestly.
I really didn't. Like, if I'm being 100% honest, when that came over the radio,
was I
like, they're not
selfishly
doing it.
hoping they weren't going to? Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Because
100%.
the team orders took the third place in the Drivers' Championship away from Kevin and Larry. So, like,
oh yeah,
yes, super selfishly hoping they weren't gonna follow team orders, but...
Yeah. But also, I was just like, knowing the 51, I was like, I don't think they're gonna do this. They did, though. So.
yeah, they did. I was still also kind of surprised to see it happen. I was like, I wasn't even thinking about securing a 1, 2, 3. I was just thinking, keep it clean, please. Don't do anything silly, because it's not like they're known for doing that, as we've seen before.
Yeah.
So
not at all.
Definitely
no,
not. What are you talking about?
Alessandro Pierguidi is the cleanest driver in the history of the World Endurance Championship.
Yes.
What are you talking about, Aries?
We need to get him a little trophy, and it's a like broom because he keeps it so clean,
So I said to someone the other day, I think it may have been Mark, but it also may have been in our 20-person group chat, one of our smaller ones.
Oh yeah, that one.
If
that one. Mm-hmm.
Alessandro Pierguidi was not a Ferrari driver, I think I would actually really like him.
I was gonna say
because he's
type of driver.
He is totally my type of driver. Like, let's be honest, Kevin, close your ears again if you're still listening. I don't know why you're still listening.
Yeah, that's
but
3 times this man has had to cover his ears.
Alessandro Pierguidi and Kévin Estre have very, very similar driving styles, and I only... This is it, and that's... I was gonna say something that was going to get taken wrong, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I only like it when Kevin does it because Kevin drives for Porsche.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes. We literally had this conversation the other day because we were talking about, like, our, like, drivers we like and their driving style, and I was like, I really don't have, like, one set driving style I like. You definitely do, though.
I like on-track terrorists. My dog is named Sebastian Vettel after, like, Menace era Sebastian Vettel, not let's go draw trees in Brazil Sebastian Vettel.
Okay, but I do
my
love
dog is a complete menace.
I do love Let's Go Draw Trees Sebastian Vettel, too.
Yeah, but that's not who I named my dog after. I named my dog after the absolute menace.
Yes.
So, yes, no, I like terrorists on track. Sorry, Kevin, but you do fit that bill.
You do.
Oh my god, actually.
But I like it, so...
Now I want a shirt that says, I like terrorists on track.
Scott Dixon is, like, the only guy I support that doesn't really fit that bill. Across all series that I watch. Like, he's really the only one that... it's like, how many times did Lauren Heinrich hit a car in IMSA this year? Like, he's not quite as terroristy as maybe some of the other people I like, but I like guys with a very aggressive driving style. I always have, and I always will.
We're just really going at it with each other.
And, like, Alessandro Pierguidi is one of those people. James Colato is one of those people.
Yeah.
I do not like either of them, primarily because they're Ferrari drivers.
There's other reasons for not liking James Colato, too.
I knew we were gonna get there.
So, what's gonna happen if in 2 years Kevin goes to Ferrari?
Oh my god.
I've already told Kevin I don't want him to go to Ferrari. Not that Kevin is taking my opinion into account when he decides what he's doing with his future, but I don't want Kevin to go to Ferrari. I do have a Ferrari hat over here somewhere. Yeah, see, Ferrari. I got this when I was, like, 12, so I really can't... 13. I was 13 when I got this, because this was a 2002 season hat. But still, I was 13 when I got it. But yes, I do have a Ferrari hat. Just gonna have to come out of retirement if Kevin goes to Ferrari. Kevin doesn't even like Michael Schumacher, but I'm just going to wear a Michael Schumacher hat because I refuse to buy Ferrari merch. She says with, let's count how many things she has that say Penske. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't buy this one.
I was gonna say, my favorite thing is literally when we, like,
actually
became vocal PPM fans. Either. We were like, we're not buying PPM merch. And then we
I managed to not buy over half the hats I have. I bought these 2. These 3 I didn't.
Oh yeah. I only bought, like, one of my hats.
And if anybody notices, I wear this hat more than I wear any of the other hats. Which is not a PPM hat, it's just a Kevin hat.
I'm pretty sure we didn't notice it at all.
No. Yeah, my house will turn red if Kevin goes to Ferrari, let's be honest.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I suppose we should, like, either let Aries talk or move on to, like, the rest of the sports car notes. Do you have more you want to say about your people?
Well, we've already been on about 2 of the 3 title winning guys. all I can say is I wonder what was in Gio's mind. Gio Antonio Giovinazzi, because not only he won the title, his team, his manufacturer won the title, and he also became a dad on the very same day. So the guy hit a triple score.
Congratulations
Yes,
to
congrats.
Antonio Giovinazzi for becoming a father. That's like really awesome. I'm sure that he's like absolutely thrilled about that. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm sure that winning all these titles is not what he's ever gonna remember about that day. So,
No.
I do think it's insanely cool though that like his
It's
kid
so
was
cool.
born on the same day that he won the championship. Like,
yeah.
that's just amazing. And you could
It all-
never like make that up. So
Yeah.
So, Connor Zilic was supposed to test the Cadillac V Series R in the rookie test at Bahrain as a reward, basically, for winning the Xfinity title, which he didn't win. So he became ineligible to do the test because of, I don't know, whatever dumb rule the FIA uses to determine who's got enough licensing points. You've got like random silver rated drivers that have never done anything testing hypercars, but Connor, who literally won Daytona and Sebring in a prototype. Now, granted, it was an LMP2, but a prototype. Like, this kid knows his way around a car. You're putting guys that have only ever driven a GT car. Like, Valentino Rossi, who I get it is like one of the most decorated motorcycle champions ever, but like, silver rated GT driver tested for WRT last year in their hypercar. Why couldn't Connor? It's infuriating to me.
it's
They're just
really
being
infuriating.
stupid.
Yeah. But it's also like, besides the fact that he won Daytona and Sebring, he then also got a podium at Petit. So like the 3 of those races, he's had great
3 for 3 on
results.
podiums.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on podiums on those. Like that, and also, like you mentioned, compared to other guys who've been able to test, he's a guy who has like sports car experience, like especially in like a prototype. You would think that guy would definitely be able to like get to do the test. It's insane the way the system is. This also, though, does kind of go back to how NASCAR's playoff system is as well, which already we know is changing for next season. How, we don't know exactly, but it is changing, so maybe that will change this outcome in the future, but that's really not going to matter necessarily. But just like the fact that this was a thing that happened where he apparently like had his plane tickets, literally everything ready to be able to go to Bahrain and do this test, and then last minute like had to cancel everything. It's just crazy. He is still going to be testing a V Series R because he will be testing in Daytona with Action Express. But he should have been able to test at Bahrain.
Yeah. No, he absolutely should have. And I don't know. I mean, he's kind of made his bed with NASCAR, and I think that sports cars as a whole kind of look at that in a certain way. If he had done IMSA this year, regardless of what his results were, he would have been doing this test. The rest of the world looks at NASCAR as backwoods hick racing. So they do not give it any respect, regardless of how, good a driver that has chosen to have his, rookie season in the second tier of NASCAR's series is.
It's just classic FIA being the FIA, and there is obviously you see a guy who's a real talent, but then you're like, oh yeah, he's not in our little bubble, so yeah, who cares about him? Screw him.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it is how it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to new, I put in quotations very loosely, teams that are joining, because it's really just Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan's moving over to running McLaren's in GTD Pro for 2026. And with one car, there's an option for them to then do 2 cars in 2027. So we will have McLaren back in GT for IMSA. This obviously has led to the conversation of another hypothetical team up for McLaren when they make their hypothetical GTP program for 2028 loosely. Besides United.
Yeah, I mean, I think that McLaren having options is a good idea, because I think that United doesn't want to be overextended, right? Like, and if a different team is able to, even just for a little bit, run the, like, look at what WRT is doing now, choosing to run both sides of the pond, when, before it was Rahal over here and WRT over there. So, it could just be a, let's get our feet under us a little more for United with McLaren in hypercar. Let another team, like, get the McLarens out there, get Rahal or Riley or whoever to shake out all the issues in IMSA, and then swoop on in and be like, and we're taking over now. Like McLaren, because there's the benefit with McLaren that Zach Brown makes the decisions on both sides, with United and with McLaren. So if Zach Brown from McLaren wants to make sure that Zach Brown from United has control of McLaren's GTP program in 2030, he can make sure that Zach Brown from McLaren only signs a 2-year deal with Rahal. It's very...
It's, yeah. It's
yeah.
a very weird loophole situation.
But it's something that you need to consider as to why this McLaren partnership occurred.
Yeah, I also think, especially with this, obviously it's going to be a different car, but like RLL having GTP experience, if you can take that, again, albeit a different car, but you can still apply it, I don't see a reason not to take that, even if it's for a few seasons before United takes over.
While McLaren seems to be gobbling up every free agent available, I feel like every single person has at some point been linked with potentially going to McLaren in 27. Lamborghini,
what do you mean?
Seems to be absolutely losing
You mean
everybody.
Someone that a decade before that drove for McLaren might return to McLaren in a hypercar role? Please don't go to McLaren, Kevin. I look really bad in orange.
What do you mean, Aries? What do you mean? It's not like I've talked about it a gazillion times or anything, definitely.
No.
See, but you would like if Matt went to McLaren. I would not like if Kevin went to McLaren.
I'm just saying. What are you on about?
I'm listening to the voices in my head. It's too much going on right now. But yes. Something's up at Lamborghini, or rather, I don't know, because everyone and their mother is leaving that manufacturer, because even Jordan Pepper, who this year seemed to be unbeatable in some occasions for Lamborghini, is apparently moving to BMW. And that hit me out of nowhere. I was like, wait a minute, what is this?
As if BMW needs more good GT drivers. They are already so OP in GT, it is unfair to bring Jordan Pepper on board.
No, but I will tell you, they're cooking an all South African lineup.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't support it.
You know, I didn't think about that aspect for some reason. That didn't
I just
cross my
realized it.
mind.
Don't worry, I just realized.
Let's consider how many Porsche drivers there are who maybe, like, if they stay with Porsche, don't have things to do other than go be GT drivers.
Yeah.
As we know, I'm sending Kevin to NLS, but, like, I can also send him to GT World Challenge. Or, like, everything else.
Everything else.
He could do IGTC as well. I mean, he already may be doing 3 rounds of it. Why not do the whole dang series?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, so.
As we can tell, I'm not taking the possibility of Kevin not driving a 963 well, because I just, drinking gamed the heck out of the Lamborghini segment.
Yeah, this segment has been completely hijacked.
It's nothing new. Also, you're not the first one to make a silly GT one, because I decided to make a silly GT one where it was purely McLaren-based of GMG also does run McLarens and Porsches, and I was like, a way to annoy Tom Sargent, who likes Matt Campbell, is to somehow make Matt Campbell drive for GMG, whether it's Porsche or McLaren. So
He's gonna put him in McLaren Trophy America.
Yes. Just to annoy
Do they
Tom
let
Sargent.
platinum drivers drive in McLaren Trophy America?
So. But
Matt's going to lap the field every race if you put him in that.
Exactly. But I'm not saying, 1, it was in any way logical. 2, purely to annoy Tom. Sorry, Tom, but I had to find a way to annoy you, and that was my way.
That's great. Yes, back to Lamborghini, which has nothing to do with Matt Campbell or Kévin Estre.
No, at least not yet.
No.
So we were
the SC63 is coming back, and Matt and Kevin are the drivers. There we go.
That's the new one.
That is the latest development in the Wargaming saga. We are resuscitating programs now.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, I would rather resuscitate, the 963 in WEC, but, like, if that's what we gotta do, I guess we'll resuscitate Lambo.
Oh dear, I just realized the 963 and SC63 end the same way. But yes, speaking of McLaren, I did say they were absorbing everybody. The previous head of the racing division of Lambo is now involved with the customer arm of racing at McLaren. So how's that for a coincidence? That's how, it's in the notes here, but by now we obviously know it's not happening. But I was making all the connections I could between Lamborghini and McLaren, and I thought maybe Roman Grosjean is going to end up there. But by now we know he's following Riley to Ford because he's going to be driving their Mustang next year. So it's all connected, but it's all also not connected. But it's just fun to speculate, as we all know we do quite a bit.
Early prediction, Roman Grosjean to the Ford LMDH program. I don't see any other reason for a guy that has said, I do not want to do GT racing, to do GT racing, which again might support the whole Riley having something to do with Fords. Like, Riley has been linked to a lot of different potential future LMDH teams, and
you heard it first here.
Yeah. Along with Kevin and Matt to the SC63.
Yes, or Trophy America. Which definitely isn't allowed.
Do not take anything we say seriously as far as where drivers might end up, other than, yes, I am wearing the Grello sweatshirt because I think Kevin's driving the Grello next year in some series. Haven't decided which one yet. Please let it be IMSA.
Well, now we're gonna go to how Bahrain somehow also turned into Daytona. Because if you don't know, somehow we had middle finger between Corvette and BMW times 2. You know, the start of the IMSA season, we had that. Now we're closing the WEC season with it as well. Insane. All I'm going to say is, Genesis, you're going to need to find a way to modify your hypercar so that Danny can stick his arm out to give cars middle fingers, apparently. Because I do think he's going to find a way to do it. Even though he will get a fine.
I like that Augusto Farfus, who was driving both BMWs in this equation, he was driving the one at Daytona and the one in Bahrain. He offered to do overtaking lessons for drivers that needed, help. And him and Danny got into it on Instagram, and that was just great.
Yes.
I need more drivers to have funny online beef that isn't, like, super serious.
Yeah, no, that was, like, my favorite thing. Because then Danny, like, reposted what he said with, like, a bumper cars, like, gif.
Yeah. He's like, this is what the training is gonna be.
Yes. And then, like, made jokes about the fact of him getting his fine because, you can do things in IMSA, but you can't do them in WEC. So it was a whole lot of chaos that just continued online, and it was amazing. Danny, don't change, please. Speaking of Daytona, it's Daytona testing week, which also just means it's Matt driving every 963 that he can drive.
Kevin not driving any of them, which is why I don't think he's going to be in a 963 next year.
Yeah, I'm, I still am confused about driving all 3 963s, but, I've also found a way to, shocker everyone, once again make a connection to Tom Sargent, because we have Tommy Bananas. Now we're going to have Matty Bananas because, he's driving the banana car. What's with Australians and bananas? I don't know, but it is also Matt Campbell just wearing a whole lot of yellow. Or at least helmet and car matching. So, a lot of 963 stuff. Also, for everyone who doesn't know, the reason Larry and Lauren aren't testing is they're at Macau. So, like...
Kevin's not at Macau, though.
Yes.
So there's no, stated reason Kevin isn't testing, by the way. Just pointing that out.
I'm just saying because I saw people being like, why aren't those two there? That's why.
Nope, that's a completely legitimate reason. Lauren Heinrich, once again, doing Lauren Heinrich things, and, just got out of a 963 in Bahrain, and, flies to Macau to go drive a 911 because the boy doesn't know how to not be sitting in a Porsche. In some crazy part of the world. But...
Yeah, some say he's called Mr. Worldwide.
Hipple who?
Yes. But I guess back to your notes about Daytona. Your last point hasn't actually been confirmed other than the fact that Ryan liked my tweet.
There was meant to be a question mark afterwards, and it, for some reason, didn't go in the notes. So
yeah, so Thomas Preining and Ryan Hardwick are testing the 911 Manti car, which is going to be the Grello car.
Yes.
But I said that I wasn't expecting Preining to be the pro in the first form car, And Ryan Hardwick liked that tweet. So, like, if we're breaking news based on drivers liking tweets, I'm willing to say that I think Thomas Preining is going to be the pro in Ryan Hardwick's first form car, but, like, also he might not be. I really thought he was going to be, and this is another reason I think Kevin's going to be in the Grello. I thought that Preining was going to be the guy for the Grello.
Oh, yeah.
And with him not being the guy for the Grello, and no offense to Thomas, he's a great driver, but I still think Kévin is more synonymous with the car at the moment than Thomas is. So, yeah, I do wholeheartedly believe Kévin is driving the Grello next year.
I think you'd be okay with that.
No, I'll totally be okay with that.
You know?
It's one less race potentially two less races I have to attend.
Yeah.
I'll probably still go to Long Beach. I haven't, like, locked down that trip yet, but I'll probably still go anyways, even though that's not a race that car will be doing. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go to all the mech rounds if that's the case. As opposed to if Kévin is a primary driver in the 963, I'm going to all 8 rounds that the GTP cars do.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Kévin, I need you to announce your program for next year so I know exactly how much travel and how much money I'm gonna have to spend to watch you do race cars.
Yeah.
I think you should get one of those, like, passes like Max Verstappen gave that guy, where I just get to go to the races and, like, talk about them on social media.
Yeah.
The problem is that Porsche would be like, so you already go to the races and talk about them on social media, and we don't need to fly you to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
It is a valid point, but yes, everyone just needs to announce what they're doing so that
Yes,
race planning can happen.
indeed. And then we knew this was coming eventually, but the Tower video from Petit came out, which we were told we were going to be in, and we in fact were in it. We have made it into one random racing video this year. No, the WEC quali broadcast from Coda does not count as a random racing video, so this is our one video we were in.
Yes. The IMSA broadcast also doesn't count, because that happened too, for Petit, apparently. So, yes.
Yes, it did.
It did.
I didn't know that.
Standing
When?
outside the garage. I think it was
Yeah.
Polly?
No, someone did send us pictures of that.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, that doesn't count either.
Yeah, that also doesn't count. We made it in one video, and it is the Tower video.
Yes, it's our besties video. We were in it, like, numerous times.
We were, yes.
Yeah. Also, the little hot dog we gave them was in it numerous times as well. Like, every garage clip, it was, like, in the background. But then also at the end, if you're, like, as the credits are going, they, like, show it, and part of it's, like, us, and then us holding it. But then it's also Sebastian Alvarez just fake eating it. And that was actually my favorite part. I was like,
That's fantastic.
I was like, this is great. Because you could tell he was, like, very confused, and then was just like, I'm actually just going to commit to the bit. And as we know, we love drivers committing to the bit. So, it was great. The only thing I will say, though, is them having 2 drivers that go by Seb was very confusing. It was like, which Seb are we talking about? You guys need to distinguish nicknames for your drivers. They can't both be Seb.
They cannot both be Seb. Our favorite feeder series driver, Kevin's brother Dylan, who I'm sure loves being referred to as Kevin's brother Dylan,
I mean, that's not what I refer to him as, but sure. I refer to him as the better Estre, but...
Which I'm sure he would just prefer that, like, I say the words Kévin Estre as, like, a phrase multiple times every episode. I'm sure Dylan would appreciate if we said, Dylan Estre had some races this weekend and we're gonna talk about them, so let's do that.
Yes. The last time we talked about Dylan, I made the joke that he had a better race weekend than Kévin because Kévin didn't race. I guess Dylan heard that and decided to make it actually true because, you know, he got P2 in both qualies.
As opposed to last, Kevin.
Yeah, as opposed to last. And it wasn't last because of, like, a penalty this time.
No, it was genuinely last.
It was genuinely last.
Dylan didn't lock up on his first fast lap and, you know, be last.
No, you know, he actually did pretty well. And then he did really well in the race multiple races, too, because he won both of them. So once again, Dylan wins the award of the better performing Estre.
But in fact, victory, not P13. I will say that I do think the World Endurance Championship in Hypercar might be a little more competitive than the Ultimate Cup Series.
Hey.
But I still want to see the two of them in either a neutral car or, better yet, stick Kévin in an open wheel car.
Yes.
And I want to see how they do.
I need it. We already got Dylan in a Carrera Cup doing his
but we don't have any comparison to how, like, fast Kévin would have done any of what Dylan did. Like,
yeah, so I'm just saying
what I actually need them to do... I need them to do the Silly Zolder race next year together.
You know what? Yes, do it.
Make that happen, please.
Yeah. But also, Kévin, get in an open wheel car and race your brother.
Or like karting. Can we see them compete against each other in go-karts?
Something.
We need to settle this who is the best Estre debate. 'Cause, you know, I'll say Dries and Larry have, like, at least the same series that they're competing in to decide who is better and who isn't. And, like, Sheldon and Kelvin sometimes both do GT, so, like, they also can determine who is better. Now, I will say, those two sets of brothers are a lot closer in age and experience to one another than Kévin and Dylan, because, as I said, he is our favorite feeder series driver. Dylan's a teenager. Like, he is still a kid. He is probably getting more, like, press out of us talking about him than anyone else in his series.
Look, it's very important that everyone knows this.
Yes, exactly.
Very important.
Hopefully we find out eventually soon how he did in the Carrera Cup France Junior Shootout.
Yeah.
Because that'd be really cool if he was the Carrera Cup France, like, kid for next year.
My favorite thing, though...
I will say, a lot of those guys that he was up against are older and more experienced, so, like, if he doesn't get it, I hope he does it again next year.
Yeah, I will say my favorite thing, though, about that was Patrick Pile was, like, part of the selection process.
Yeah, that's true. Guy that literally races with his brother in the same car.
I literally was like, imagine you're, like, going to your, you know, your shootout, see if you'll be, like, the France Carrera Cup Junior, and your brother's teammate is just the guy that has to evaluate you. Like, None of the other kids there can say that. Like, that's crazy.
That's what Dylan gets for being the little brother of one of the greatest racing drivers ever. So he's gonna have to deal with that forever.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. On Twitter, Nicole is at Nicole on Racing, Auston is at Hendrick Laren, and Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
Hey, Orange.